One state Trump must win to secure his re-election path is Florida, and the Real Clear Politics average currently has Biden up by 1.7 points in the state, and Democrats have a slight lead in early voting. But is that margin really big enough to withstand the tidal wave of votes Trump is expected to get tomorrow on Election Day? Joining me now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, wonderful to see you tonight. Big day for your state tomorrow, as always, every 4 years it seems to be. What do you expect GOP turnout to look like tomorrow?
Well, Laura, as you mentioned, Republican ballots are a little bit below Democrat for early and mail vote, but we expected that. We're actually down less. We were down 1.4% in 16 going against Hillary. I think we're about 1.1% behind. So we're actually in a better position. And I think we're set for a decisive election day victory because partially Democrats don't want to vote in person. They're doing the mail. And then Republicans, we have over 200,000 super voters more than the Democrats who haven't voted. So we know a lot of these people are going to be voting tomorrow. And so we're looking at 2 or 3 to 1 advantage in election day potentially. And so I think that's going to put Donald Trump over the top. Last night I was with the president at the Miami rally. I think it was 1 in the morning, and you had electricity in the air.
We're showing pictures of it now, Governor. Yeah, we're showing it now on the screen. It was unbelievable.
And that's a county that he got clobbered in 16. He lost by 30 points. He still won the state, which is amazing. Well, now the turnout we're getting and the energy and enthusiasm, and particularly the Latino community, he's going to do very well there. Now, we're not going to win Dade County, but I think he can cut the margin by a third or a half. That could be 100,000 votes right there. So I think going into Election Day tomorrow, Donald Trump's in a stronger position than he was in 16, and obviously we know he carried the state of Florida in 2016.
Now, with the polls close there, at least right now, stories that I'm about to tell you are seriously concerning. Investigators in Florida, Governor, thwarted a scheme to register dozens of dead people to vote in Broward County, which just so happens to be, of course, Democrat stronghold, second most populous county in the state. And Broward election supervisor Pete Anastacci saying this is an organized effort by someone who had a scheme to either undermine the Florida registration system with fake voters or intended to vote 50 times. Now, this was foiled before fraudulent votes were cast, but should voters be concerned given some of these other stories we're hearing?
Well, I'd say 2 things. One, just generally, law enforcement in Florida has foiled a number of improprieties, so people should know if they try that, they will get caught and prosecuted. Second, with respect to Broward and Palm Beach, one of the first things I did when I took office in 2019 was accept Brenda Snipes' resignation, who was the supervisor in Broward. I also removed the Palm Beach County supervisor because they had not run the elections properly. So we have new individuals in those positions. And so far, those counties have run well this year in both the presidential primary and the general primary. So I think that people in Florida should have confidence that those 2 counties are going to perform better than they have in the past. And I think that that's just important. I mean, people don't want to see kind of the same mistakes be repeated every single year in the same counties.
I want to play something from a interview that Dr. Anthony Fauci did on the Melbourne, Australia, coming out of their 111-day lockdown. Now, listen closely, Governor, because I think he's not a big fan of states having their own say like Florida's. Watch.
The states, by this process called federalism, have the ability to do things independently, even though we have a central government. When you're dealing with a pandemic and you say, we want everybody to do A, B, and C, and all of a sudden, state number 43 does this and state number 27 does that, it becomes very difficult.
Governor, they were calling your state out along with Arizona and Texas and Georgia early on for opening. What do you say to that?
Well, it's interesting, Laura. We actually will have people that will move from LA, Chicago, San Francisco to Florida because we're open, schools are open, and they're not open in those areas. And so people have been voting with their feet, and people have wanted to come to a state that's open for business, where people can work and where kids can go to school. All 67 Florida counties are open for in-person instruction. K through 12, all charter schools, all private schools. You have some of these other big school districts across the country. They have zero in-person instruction in some of these places. That is catastrophic for our young people. And some of these public health, quote, experts have shown very little regard for the well-being of our children throughout all of this. And I think that that's going to be looked upon very negatively when people look back on what some people could have done had they exercised a little bit more leadership.
Governor, you've handled this pandemic and against a lot of pressure. You've delivered for the people of your state. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We enjoyed watching the rally last night. And the key to winning Florida for Trump is getting out more of the Latino vote. We all know that. And when it comes to that, Trump has a real fighter on his side.
We have one of the greatest fighters anywhere in the world in Jorge Masvidal. Champ. He's a champ. He's got that heart. He's got that heart. Thank you, man. We need more people like him, I can tell you.
And joining me now is UFC fighter Jorge Masvidal. Jorge, wonderful to see you. We've been hearing a lot that Trump is doing better among Hispanics. So are you seeing that on the ground? Is it actually true?
It's a red wave here. It's getting hotter and hotter. The red wave, it's a real thing. I mean, people waited 4 hours yesterday for the rally, and about 25,000 live individuals were there. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what I can tell you.
All I know, Jorge, as I kept saying today, if I had to pick one rally to go to, the one in Miami would be the most fun, because everybody's dancing and there's music, and everyone around the country is like, wait, they want me to be miserable, but people actually seem to be having fun. And the fun factor people have to not ignore, I think.
You know, we had a great time. As you said, the Latin music was playing. Water bottles were being handed out. People were sweating, dancing, waiting for our president to come and just give us some words of wisdom and some encouragement. And it was a ball, man. And from the beginning to the end, great speakers. I had a blast. One of my favorite rallies I've attended ever.
Hey, here's what a Yahoo Sports headline today said. Why are so many ex-athletes risking their legacies by endorsing Donald Trump this late in the election? Now, I know you're still fighting, but do you think you're risking your legacy by endorsing Donald Trump?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we see it everywhere. They try to cancel my goya beans that I love to eat, that I've been eating since a kid, that feeds millions of Latin people, that they just give charity events to. When the hurricanes came to Puerto Rico, they sent tons of food over there. In places like Venezuela, and they tried to cancel culture them because they had a business meeting with Trump. So obviously, I stand to lose a lot, but I'm not going to be intimidated by no mob or by no individual. I'm not the type of person who can take something from me. It's better we talk it out, you know. So I don't care what I stand to lose. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking for those that can't speak, like my father, like my aunt that escaped communist Cuba. I have to be a mouthpiece for them. You know, I'm definitely not getting more followers or friends or stuff like that because I'm endorsing the president. It's quite the opposite, but I don't care. You know, I honestly don't care.
Jorge, I don't know, where are you, by the way? Where is that?
I'm at Sugar Factory. I came to have a milkshake, kind of like our early celebration for tomorrow.
Okay, again, everybody has fun down in Florida, or wherever you are. You're in Florida?
Miami, Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Okay. Miss. Yes,
of course.
Miss.
Where all the fun is. Jorge, thanks so much. Great to see you tonight. And coming up, Biden's decency plays, well, rings hollow, I think, while Trump's support from Latinos in Florida was on full display last night, as we just talked about. Raymond Arroyo explains it all, seen and unseen next.